Hey, there's a lot of excitement. So some of us, in fact, the four of us were over in Dubai in January for our last Circle Networks Live, which makes this whole process really easy because you guys know what's in store for everybody. It's a bit harder if you've never been to one of these events before to know exactly what's in store. Okay, I can now hear myself in the background. Right. So Circle Networks Live. Very quickly, I went to a lot of conferences in the past, and I felt like I'd paid to be a prospect at someone's event. So you buy your ticket, you've got all the travel and expenditure that goes with it, and then you're there at an event where whoever the speaker is on stage, it just feels like they're selling their latest thing. So you've paid for the privilege to go there, taken the time out of a busy schedule, because we're all really busy, only to be there and someone's there on stage going, right, and you've got 5 minutes to buy my latest thing before this special offer expires, and then you get this huge FOMO feeling. So I wanted to create Circle Networks Live as an event where there's a ton of value from some amazing speakers who help you take a pause and a bit of time out from rushing around constantly to get some new ideas, meet some new people, perhaps come up with some collaborations, and then go away and put it into practice. That's why we run these on a Monday as well. So this is on Monday, the 23rd of March, so that you can plan this in advance, block out a couple of days or at least a few hours in the days afterwards, so that you can go back over your notes and go, oh, it was really interesting what Dave said about that thing. What am I going to do? Or I met Simone and then he introduced me to this person. I need to follow up with them. Rather than going from event to event to event and never actually using the stuff that you hear or write down. And we're all very good, aren't we? We all have one of these. So when I'm at an event, I've got my notebook and I write stuff down, but you've got to go back over it and put stuff into practice.
I've got the actual one of these. I've got the fidget spinner one.
So, Elsie, you came over to the Dubai event with us. Based on what you know about what went on in Dubai and the lineup that we've got for the Nairn event, what are people looking forward to that you've spoke to?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, based on my own opinion of what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to seeing these two guys speak again and hear what they have to share, because the thing is about learning something new is that it doesn't always go in the first time. So I travelled all the way to Dubai to hear the amazing Simone Vincenzi talk about webinars, and it just started to get me thinking about using LinkedIn at the top of my funnel and whether I would go and start developing my own webinar. There were too many things to think about to actually properly process that, but I knew it was a good idea. So when I've been talking to businesses locally, I've particularly been chatting to ones that I think are very active on LinkedIn and would potentially have a lot to gain from listening to Simone. And then from Dave's point of view, I know he's a big guru in the food and drink world, and especially in the health foods. So I've got quite a lot of connections up here who are in the food and drink space, maybe in retail businesses, maybe in the wellness space. And I know that not only are they going to get something from what Dave has to say, but actually all of us could think about taking 2 steps back in our business. So I'm looking forward to listening to that all over again.
Dave, you've been to 2 of these events before, one in September and then in Birmingham, and then you came out to Dubai. Based on the feedback that you had from your Dubai event, what did people say?
It goes back to that point that you made earlier, Jamie, about that pause and that time to pause and take a break and almost act as a reset. There are people that come to these conferences as a reset button to say, right now is a poignant time. It's at the end of Q1. How was the front half of my quarter gone? What do I need to reset? How do I need to look at? What collaborations do I need to bring? So I know there's a lot of people that use it and are going to use it as that. They did in Dubai. The feedback from the Birmingham conference was the same. To deepen the relationships with people that they've met through the online groups, but also then to think around the formulating. Everyone has come out with partnerships. What I love about this is that people, one, reach out to you, full stop. Sometimes you do talks and never hear from anybody ever again. And actually people taken the time to feed back what they got from it. They allowed from all the different speakers, but it's the partnerships. It's almost like we've been working and seeing each other in environments not too dissimilar to this online, and then that face-to-face bit allows us to just deepen the relationship and take it to a level where collaborations tend to happen. And listening to the stories off the back of Dubai, of Birmingham, and events I haven't been able to get to inspired me not just to be there, but obviously now it's great to be talking and speaking. I'm a visitor as well. I'm coming to listen to everybody as well. And I know that I'm doing exactly the same thing and using it as that element to get to know people that I've talked to around the country and around the globe in person.
I feel like you've hit a few points there. One, putting names to faces and seeing people in real life, and getting our phones out and doing selfies. It's not the same doing it online. I love the convenience of online, but there's nothing like being in a room with like-minded people. The speakers spend the whole day at the event. So sometimes I've been to events where we have some very important people. They come on stage. Literally, they can only spare 45 minutes of their time before the car whisks them away to their next important thing. All our speakers spend the whole day at the event. So there's a very good chance you might be sat on a table with Simone or Dave or Elliot or any of our other speakers, because they spend the whole day there. And to me, that's really important because you get to ask questions. I think sometimes people will go, have you got any questions for Simone before we arrive? No. And then afterwards, that's when the questions come. So getting to hang around with these guys and chat to them afterwards and ask questions and just, you mentioned that thing about this. So Simone, let's come to you. Your first time speaking for us last month, in January even. What have you got in store for people in Scotland?
Webinars, and more webinars. That's what we got ready. Now, it's been a fantastic experience. I think that there is something unique about Circle Network, which is the level of trust that it creates. And the kind of people that it attracts. They are not people that it's about them. They want to show off. They want to sell to each other. No, they want to genuinely create partnerships, as they've said. They want to genuinely create collaborations. They want to work together because they can add value to each other. And then they can refer each other to other people and grow their business in that way. And I think it's very special because, sometimes you go to an event and everyone is selling to everyone. And then you go home and then you leave with a bunch of business cards and you do nothing about it. And you don't even have a good experience. So I think that the way, like the culture of the entire Circle Network, the way the event is curated, allows time for everyone in the audience actually to go deeper into the content, to go deeper into the presentation, to use that as a starting point, to think differently about their business. And the reason why I'm excited about Scotland is because I'm Italian originally, but Scotland is actually the reason why I decided to move to the UK. Now, I stopped in London, but my intention from Italy to actually move to the UK was because I wanted to move to Scotland. And every time I go to Scotland, it's magic. It's really magical. So cannot wait for that event, for that on a personal reason. And also on a practical level, what I'm going to talk about is how can you get clients and scale using webinars, because webinars are the most effective way to get clients online if you do them really well. And I think there is a big opportunity right now to build that trust, build that relationship through a webinar, through a presentation with your potential clients. So then, when you get on a call with them or when you try to sell them something, they already had an experience about you. And this is what people need before they buy something. They need to get to know you. They need to see you. They need to get to trust you. And in the online space, there is nothing better than a webinar. So that's all these reasons. That's why I'm excited about the event in Scotland, and I cannot wait to be there.
Elsa made a good point before. Sometimes we need to hear things multiple times, and that's part of the webinar process. So for the rest of us, hearing each other speaking again is a great bonus, because it's some time out. We're not distracted by anything else, that we can sit and think, oh, right, I did mean to do that thing, and for whatever reason I didn't do it. Now that I'm hearing it again, I want to go and do that. I never thought that I never really thought that I was the person for doing webinars. And I saw your keynote and I was like, right, now you've broken it down in that way, I can see how it can fit in with everything that I do, because generally everything I'm doing is around networking and networking events. But now that I've added a layer of webinars into my world, I've got a really easy ask. All I'm asking people to do is, can you invite someone to my webinar? Not to sell me anything, not to have a meeting, but can you just invite somebody to come along to my webinar? So when I'm speaking to people and they say, how can I help you, Jamie? Well, it's really easy. Can I give you this link, and could you invite somebody to my next webinar? So to me, it's a perfect layer that I didn't realize I was missing.
Yeah, because even jumping on a call with someone, there is a certain level of trust that needs to be required, or are really looking for that service. And if you think about how network works, sometimes you will recommend people because like, hey, you need to talk to Jamie, you need to talk to Dave, you need to talk to Elsa. Like, I know because this is the exact problem that they have, and I can make a direct recommendation. But sometimes they're just curious. They just want to check things out. And a call is too much of a step. So in that case, we could say, hey, why don't you go to Jamie's webinar? Why don't you go to Dave's webinar or Elsa's webinar and see it for yourself, if it is for you or not. It's a much easier ask also for a partner or for a collaborator, because now instead of making a private introduction, I can just say, hey, why don't you check out this webinar? And I can do it on social media, I can do it in different ways. So it fits really well into the ethos of the Circle Network, which is about creating referrals and introductions for each other. It's just now another layer in which you can do it.
Okay, Elsa, let me come back to you with a question. If someone's our event is it's not open to anyone, it's open to nice people. So you don't have to be part of Circle Networks to come along to this. But if you're running your own business, you're involved in business, you might even be part of somebody else's business, it's open to you if you're a good person. What might someone be saying to themselves about not coming?
Well, I think the thing is that to take a whole day out of running your business to go to an event like this, you've got to see what the point of it is. And so that is what, obviously we hopefully can share in this webinar or this online session today, because, it's not easy when you're a small business and maybe you've got a small team, or maybe it's just you, and to actually think about giving up time for the whole day is really quite a challenge. So what I can assure people is there's a whole lot of learning to be had, and you'll meet some familiar faces. If you're from the Highlands, from Inverness, from Murray, you're going to see some people that you know, but you're also going to meet some people that you didn't know. So the good news is there are friendly faces in the room, and the extra good news is that Circle Networks attracts friendly people, and so there will be other friendly faces. So even the people that you meet that you didn't know already will also be people like you. They'll be friendly people open to conversation. They're not there to push their business. They're there to learn just like you. And it's a day of learning. There are breakout sessions, there are questions, there's a workbook, so that you are working on your business when you spend this time. This is not wasted time. You're not there to hear other people pitching about their business. I'll be on stage all day. I probably won't even mention the name of my business, I'm there to guide everyone, to help them get the most out of it, to ask the questions that you might be asking, to give you the opportunity to ask questions of the speakers so that you can learn the things you need to learn about the topics that the speakers will be covering. And we obviously haven't just got these two guys there. There are other speakers as well who've got loads of value, loads of experience, loads of knowledge to share. So this is a richly packed day where you'll meet people like you, you'll have some friendly faces, and you'll learn a lot of things to help you move your business forward. Oh, and there's a lunch. Did I mention the lunch? Some people just come for the food, right?
Parking is really easy as well, isn't it, Ilse?
Parking's really easy. I would allow time for the journey because Nairn does get a little bit snarled up at 9 o'clock in the morning. But yes, apart from that, there's plenty of parking. There are Highland cows in the garden. So if you're not from Scotland, you've got that little novelty. Simone, I haven't mentioned the Highland cows to you, have I?
Nope, you haven't.
There we go. You're going to be able to get your picture, your selfie with the Highland cow outside of the Newton Hotel.
Okay. Dave, walking into our September event for the first time, you'd only just discovered Circle Networks at that point. How did you find it?
Pleasantly different. And I think this is the thing that I talk to a lot of people around. Like you alluded to, it's not that usual conference. It's not these you must or you need to or you should or you have to. There are groups of people that are there to catch up face to face. There are new people there, but you wouldn't be able to spot them. I've been to too many events where there's pockets of single people standing away with a cup of tea as far away as they can from somebody. Everybody is welcome. You're treated like you've been there. I think I had been to 2 events, in-person events before I went to the conference. And I didn't stop talking the whole time I was there. The groups of people that I met with, sat down with, had lunch with, I've still got a little plastic duck that I was given because I was told, well, I won't go into the sentence I was told I was very good and a very good person at what I did. And that's the thing. It's like walking into a whole group of people that everybody's there to be your cheerleader. Everyone's there to be your champion. And everybody wants everyone to succeed. So that lead with how can I help rather than hello, my name is and this is what I do was such a breath of fresh air. I've really, very much gone all in on Circle Networks as a whole now because of that conference. Because you alluded to that, people like you, and Circle Networks is exactly that.
Thank you. So we have some people that come along and they just come for the conference. They're not part of Circle Networks. They don't want to join anything else. It's not a sales pitch. It's just about adding value. And to me, one of the reasons we picked the Scottish Highlands and Nairn was because the obvious thing to do would be to run it in Edinburgh or Glasgow. And I like to be different. So that's why we picked Nairn for this. And to me, it's bringing people together who wouldn't normally meet. So we've got Dave's coming up with me from Cheshire. Elsa's local. She's based in, where? Remind me, Elsa?
Forres, just along the road, next town along.
Simone, where are you coming from?
London.
London. We've got George McGilvery coming from Aberdeen. We've got people from Inverness. So people are coming from all over. We've got Gillian's coming from Somerset. We've got somebody coming from York, Dan Steele. We've got Paul McGowan coming up with Helen Goad from Cumbria. We've got people coming from across the country to hear these speakers. To
Elliot from Devon.
Elliot from Devon, yes. So we bring a wide variety of people together that you wouldn't normally get to meet. The calibre of speakers that you wouldn't normally get to see because they're not from the local area. Ilse, could you just, for people that have never met some of our local speakers, could you just give them a bit of a shout out for me, please?
Yeah, for sure. So the 2 local speakers are Rennie Looper from Two Minds, who is a social media and AI expert. So many local people will be familiar with Rennie because he does a lot of talks and I subcontract to Rennie, so I know his business pretty well. And what I would say to you is he was on it when AI came out and he has fully immersed himself in what's going on in the world of AI and how that translates to businesses and what businesses need to be thinking about as we move forward in this new dawn of AI and all that it brings to businesses. So I hang off Rennie's every word. I love working alongside him and I can't wait to hear him speak, even though I speak to him on a regular basis. He adds value in every single conversation. So if you're a business owner thinking about AI and what that can bring to your business, you must come along. And even if you've heard Rennie before, AI's moving at such a pace that he's always got something new to say, and he's the man in the local area who is keeping abreast of what is going on in the world of AI. Plus, like we talked about before, even though you've heard something before, doesn't mean it's all gone in, doesn't mean that you've really processed how to apply that to your business. So come along, get Rennie's advice. He'll be around all day, he'll chat to people. You can think about how AI translates into real action in your business using your workbook. And then another local speaker is Anne Johnson, one of my favourite people. I took over from Anne when she stepped down as the president of the Association of Scottish Businesswomen. And Anne, for many, many, many years, was running a really substantial business over in Aberdeenshire, multi-million pound figure business. And Anne has a lot to share about the journey. So it was a fire protection company that she headed up and worked in the oil gas sector, worked on business-to-business contracts, procurement, that kind of thing, dealing with large amounts of money, dealing with large problems. And what she's going to share with us is around resilience, keeping going when things get tough, the roller coaster life of business. And I'm going to be interviewing her to get some deep insights into how do you do that, especially as a woman in business. How do you have the grit and determination to carry on when the rug gets pulled out from under your feet, when things get really, really tough? And believe you me, for Anne, things have got really, really tough on more than one occasion. And she kept going and she built that business. And I love listening to her and getting insights from her. And that is something that every business owner in the room, even if you're just starting out, no matter how small you are, you can learn something from what she has to share about the journey that she's gone on in her career.
Learning vicariously. It's one of my favourite words to use. Why would we want to try and fix things that other people and do it ourselves without learning from someone that's been there and done it before? Take webinars, for example. We could all do trial and error on that, or we could come and hear from Simone on what to avoid and what we should be doing. This is the benefit of hearing to people that have walked that path before. And then we've got Elliot Kay as our closing speaker. So we were all fortunate enough to hear him with his new keynote, Watch Me. Simone, what were your takeaways from that? You know Elliot better than any of us.
Right. What you got to be there to watch that talk. I think it was one of the highlights as well of the event in Dubai. There was the amount of people that left the event saying, "Watch me," and the amount of conversation I had after with people saying, "Watch me." And running a business is not easy. You have to deal with a lot of ups and downs. You have to deal with people saying no to you all the time. You have to deal with technology changing. You have to deal with political situation changing. And sometimes even the people that are closest to you, they are the people that will doubt you. And you are there trying to push through. And I think that Elliot's message at the end is the perfect message to wrap up the entire conference, so that you can come out with that motivation, with that fire to say, "Watch me." Now, I don't want to say anything more, but you got to be there, and yes, you will leave on an incredible high to say, okay, everything that I've experienced today will come together in that moment. So make sure you come along and stay for Elliot Kay's final keynote.
Definitely. I've tried to make this as accessible as possible to people. So these things come at a huge cost, running events like this. And every event that we've run in Circle Networks like this, we've run at a loss. But it's my marketing spend. That's why I do these things, because it brings people together that don't normally get to meet up. So tickets, the benefit of doing it in the Scottish Highlands is it's a lot more competitive on price than it is doing it in central Birmingham. So for me, we're able to put tickets on sale for this event for £97 a person, and that includes teas, coffees, refreshments and lunch during the day. I don't think that you'll get a lineup of speakers like this at that price anywhere else. The idea being, if it's not one of those large motivational events where we're going to have everybody standing up and jumping around and firewalking. They've got their place. That's not this event. This is to help people take some time out from their business, meet some new people, get some new ideas. And one of the things that we do after we've had a speaker or two on, we take 10 minutes and then we have some discussions on the tables, because sometimes I might be busy writing something down and hearing what Dave's saying, and then I miss part of it, and the person next to me gets a different perspective on something. So having those small group discussions on the tables really helps people lock in their insights so that it's not information overload. Sometimes events can feel like there's just too much and it's overwhelming. So I feel like we tried this new format that we've got with longer keynotes, some shorter speakers, an interactive panel session, and it works very well to maintain momentum through the day. And I don't feel like there's any lulls in the day, is there, Elsa, from what we've done so far?
No, absolutely not. It's going to be value packed from start to finish.
So if you're watching this and you're interested, you can either click on a link, go to our Circle Networks website, circlenetworks.co.uk, or just message any of us guys, because we've all got the link for it, so that you can book your place. Places are limited. It's not a huge venue. There are some people that I've heard, yeah, I'll book. For our Dubai event, we sold out. For last September's event, we sold out. So we still have tickets available right now. That's the reason that we're doing this. And I'd encourage you to book your ticket sooner rather than later, because there is limited capacity on this event. I'd like to thank our speakers. So Dave, anything to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, just one last thing, I think, from my side. If you are one of those people that are contemplating, or you're sitting on the fence, because as Elsa said, it's a day out, it does cost some money. These are investments. This is work. This isn't a day out from work. This is work. This is you building the connections and the relationships to drive your business forward. And from the last 2 conferences that I've been at, I've seen such a change in the people that came from it, that I would just say that utilize that investment in you and your business.
Thank you. Simone?
Get your ticket. You got to be there. You got to be there because these are going to be the kind of events that will get you to think bigger, will get you to think differently. And if you want to do something different, first you got to think in a different way. And the environment in which we are in determines who we are, determines the actions that we are taking, determines the decisions that we make. And so just putting yourself in that environment, you will make decisions that will stay with you for the rest of your business and the rest of your life. So 97 quid really well spent.
I like to say to people generally, what's the value of one client to you? If you went away from this and it helped you get one client, what's that worth? And then if you repeated that, then it makes it a no-brainer. Elsa, final words.
Yeah, I just like to say to people in the Highlands and Moray, I was at an event on Friday. I don't know if you saw it on my social media. It was called the Highland Women Growth Summit, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It was a standout event, and I bet you there are a lot of men out there that had FOMO because they weren't invited to that room. It was just women and it was the Highland Women Growth Summit, so it was focused on the Highlands. So if you're in Moray or Aberdeenshire and you were thinking, oh, I didn't go to that because it was Highland Women, this is for men, for women, it's for people beyond the Highlands, it's for Moray as well, it's for people from Perthshire, Aberdeenshire, wherever you might be. You're going to get the same quality event. That was a standout event. The speakers were phenomenal. And I was sitting there thinking, this is just like Circle Networks. This is the atmosphere that we have in Circle Networks. I was so proud of Iris and Jill and the team who put that event on, thinking, they absolutely get it too. They are totally phenomenal at what they do, and this is like a next step. So if you were at that event, come to this next one. You'll meet some of the same people, you'll be able to develop those relationships, you'll meet some new people. It's a mixed event, and the speakers are coming from far and wide, and so they're there with the intention of adding value to you and your business. So if that's what you took away from the Highland Women Growth Summit, that's what you're going to get from this too. And if you missed out on the Highland Women Growth Summit, this is your chance. Get your ticket.
Amazing. Right. Thank you guys for your time. I can't wait for us to be back together. We're going to have an amazing event. Right. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you very much.